but it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true. And it feels alright.
Good evening. I did think about putting the show on at 8 tonight, but I opted for a 6 o'clock start. Good evening. Welcome to NUFC Matters, the start of a new week. Wow, what a result. What a performance. Newcastle United winning 8-0 on the road. A club record, an away win record, also a Premier League record, the most number of goal scorers in one game, 8 different scorers. Fantastic, great performance. Clean sheet was just as pleasing for me, I've got to be perfectly honest. Lots of positives to come from that game. Probably the only negative I would have said was the injury to Harvey Barnes, which looks slightly worse than we anticipated. We'll find out, of course, more about that when Eddie Howe has his press conference tomorrow. But let's get the panel. I've got a packed panel, as you would imagine, to chat about yesterday's game. Pluses, minuses, pros, cons. I think everybody's going to be happy no matter what. So we'll come to you first, Chippers. Not John Parrott. Chippers, a.k.a. Sam. He's even got it under his name now, not John Parrott. He says he can't do scouse and he's not very good at snooker. So over to you, Chippers. What did you make of that first, that rout yesterday? We can call it a rout, and rightly so.
Well, after the first 20 minutes, it didn't look like it. I couldn't see it. Like, I mean, I thought first 20 minutes we looked a bit nervy, we looked a bit sloppy on the ball. I thought we looked a bit leggy and tired, and I thought, well, it's going to be one of these games where we'll just have to grind out. And then the change happened, unfortunately, for Barnes, but that change seemed to work in our favour, and Gordon just tore them a new one. They couldn't live with them, and as soon as that first goal went in, they just dropped. They were gone. If anything, 8-0 was flattering. Could have been a hell of a lot more. Could have had a couple of penalties. I definitely think a couple of players could have seen red for the tackles because I thought they were a bit dirty. But again, doesn't get mentioned because you win 8-0. I think we deserved a bit more credit than what we've actually got. I mean, no disrespect, Sheffield United aren't a great side, but they took Spurs 200 odd minutes till they beat them, and it took Man City 90 minutes to win them. Took them to the 90th minute, to score the winning goal against them. So I think we deserve a bit more credit in that sense. But everything, afterwards was all about how bad they were as opposed to how good we were. And that just annoys us because I think, give credit where credit's due for a change. We deserved the 8-0. We were ruthless. We were devastating. And yeah, they were bad, but, you've got to play well to win 8-0. You've got to play well. You can't just turn up and score, have 8 chances and 8 goals. I think we had about double figures and everything. So, yeah, it's a case of I've got nothing. The only thing I can complain about is it wasn't more than 8 because I think we deserved more than 8 goals. But nitpicking it all, good, very good result, and hopefully for me it had the feel of the Fulham away game last season where after we beat them 4-1 away, and we looked like everything was starting to turn, and it was turning to goals, and I'm hopeful that we've got Burnley next Saturday. I'm not counting the League Cup game at the minute, but we've got a league game against Burnley next Saturday at home where they look very, very... I mean, they've played well in the Championship, but they look very beatable. So hopefully, touch wood's the first kick-start and into gear and going in the right direction now.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on all that. I definitely agree. We didn't look as if we were going to start. The way we started, we didn't look as if we're getting an 8-0 win. It was incredible. Some great social media posts, by the way. I'll put a few up now. Sky Sports, I love that one. Want to get framed, Newcastle fans. All of the different scorers and the 8-0 scoreline on the scoreboard in the middle. Nice little tweet from them. There was this one. After 8, the new sponsor of Sheffield United after that after that game. This one from T-Tank as well, who was firing on all cylinders last night with these kind of tweets, which was quite good. This one, Newcastle United, the first team in Premier League history to have 8 different players score in a single game, excluding own goals. That was just a nice one, just right after the game finishing. And what did Sheffield United fans do? Those who didn't leave the ground Special mention to this woman. I wish I didn't know her. I wish I knew her name. And I wish I knew what book she was reading, because it's 7-0. She just got her book out and she started reading, bless her.
Was it Steve Bruce's novel?
It probably was,
No.
yeah.
But looking at the thickness of it, was probably War and Peace.
It probably was, yeah. Stu Penman was quick out there as well. He says, I'm considering starting a GoFundMe page for the sudden famine that has struck Sheffield. Apparently they've eaten out today. Very good, Stu.
It's a good one.
And this one would have been a winner for me on Tweet of the Week on Friday, but I'm postponing and I'm cancelling it because can you spot the deliberate mistake? Is it a deliberate mistake?
Matty Longstaff.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah.
So well done.
I don't think his boobs are that big neither, by the way.
You know, Geordie's score, Sheffield battered, was very funny, but they got the wrong Longstaff, whoever did that. So they deserve hauling over the coals for that. But I thought I'd put them in because by the time we get to the weekend on Friday night and the tweet of the week, so they're going to be aged. And I do want to congratulate one of our panelists who's sitting down there and he doesn't often get a chance to say anything at the end. So Spenny, I'm going to let you speak now. I got this out. Well, WhatsApp group. What's all this about?
I'm in a betting club with another 10 lads. And what we do, we pick teams. And then we back like whoever we're going to win. And the score comes up to more than 2-0. We cash out on Bet365. You can cash out after 2-0. So what we said is we'll keep on putting the 10 of stake and onto the more goals to the ends. And that's what happens.
Very good. So you cashed out at the £201.56 between 10 years. Not bad. You got some money back, which is great. So not bad at all, Spenny. Give us your views on that game then, Spenny, mate. It was a sight to behold, that's for certain.
Yeah, I thought Trippier was tremendous, to be honest. He must have been listening to me last week about his free kicks and corners, to be honest. Because he did exactly what I said him to do. Get it in the middle and get it in the corner and get them free kicks across. And for me, there was no man of the match or player of the match, they call it now. For me, everybody on that team was excellent. Even Elliot Anderson got his dues, but he was average, but he still stood out for me. And it probably is his best game he's been in for Newcastle as well. But Botman has overtook Woodgate for me as being the best defender I've seen for Newcastle now. Without a doubt.
Okay,
also,
great.
What was spooky was, Steve, the last who died and we did a minute's silence before the game.
Yeah.
Player number was number 8. And they did the 8th minute silence for it. And we scored 8 goals. How spooky is that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, fair play to Newcastle fans who paid their... ultimately paid the ultimate respect yesterday. I did the same when I did... Talk TV as well with Sagas last night, but a fitting tribute for a wonderful woman. Okay, back onto the top row then. We'll come and see you now, Ian. What was your take on the game, mate?
Exactly the same as the lads. I completely agree with Chippers. First 20 minutes we looked shaky, nervous, but we just needed, like I said backstage, we just needed a goal, and when it came. And especially when the second goal came, we then looked back to the team we were and that we all enjoyed watching last season. My big the big factor for me in the game, Anthony Gordon coming on obviously was the changing point of the game, but Bruno was absolutely amazing, like back to his best. I got his stats up before. 100% duels, won 8 out of 8. 100% tackles, won 2 out of 2. 100% aerial duels, 2 out of 2. 100% take-ons completed, 2 out of 2. And 100% chance conversion, 1 out of 1. You can't get much better than that, But there were 10s all over the park. So it was, really, really, really top draw performance. And we if I was buzzing for Callum that he actually scored in the end because I thought he couldn't hit a barn door of 2 paces, to be honest, at first. Like when he scored and then Isak came on and Isak got one, so that meant, sort of killed his mini drought that he was having, if you can call it that. People are pulling out stats from last season, like only scored in 1 game in 12 matches and all that. You know, he's quality. So yeah, no, I'll not go over it anymore. I thought we were excellent.
George, we didn't see that coming. We all felt it was going to be a positive. We all felt a win was on the cards, but nobody could foresee that.
Not it, no. I think I was saying 2 and thinking I was being positive, but that was just brilliant. In fact, I had to tell you, lads, I've just come back from the RVI. It's taken them all afternoon to get the smile off my face. It's amazing. No, that comes once in a lifetime, and at least I think that, but it could come again. That was. Tell me a bad goal amongst those ones. They didn't give any. All those goals had to be scored. Absolutely fantastic. And Spenny's right about Trippier getting his kicks right. But the other thing was we've got a big group of lads at the back. And for a while, we've not made use of them. By goodness, we've made use of them yesterday. In Byrne and Botman, and how pleased I was for that lad to score. And you can see how pleased he was. Best centre back in the Premiership for me at the moment. He has been for since he got into the team for me, but best that we've ever had. He is going to be the rock for the next 10 years of the centre of our team, and long may it continue. Some quality football. Anthony Gordon just unplayable. It's funny, there was times when he was going down the left side and some of his dribbles, I thought, God, that's Bobby Mitchell. But it's Bobby Mitchell at 100 miles an hour, Mitchell was unplayable anyway. But Anthony Gordon does it at 100 miles an hour, so it's even better. No, fantastic, lads. You couldn't be happier than seeing that. And as I say, none of those goals were given. There was no daft goals. They were all well worked and sat in the back of the net. And let's hope we get another one soon as they can. And I read a couple of national press people who were saying that we'd have to watch were European hangover and all that tripe. Well, if that's a European hangover, let's have another one quickly.
Okay, Darren, give us your thoughts on the 8-0 win.
I kind of agree with everybody else. It's a team. It was no man a match. It was a team performance. But a positive thing. Well, yes, we win 3-0, but we didn't stop there. We wanted more, and I think that was good going. How many times would teams been win 3-0 and sat back, haven't they? They've just settled for the 3-0. We didn't settle for the 3-0. Wanted more goals. So if you want to finish high in the league, goals to get scored help you finish higher. But it was good to see. But I just like Jamie Carragher, he was so annoying. Couldn't bear to come and praise us. Yes, Sheffield was boy against man. Sheffield's going down, but first 20 minutes, like the lad said, we didn't play great. But once that first goal went in, it was game set match, wasn't it? We're good. We reserved that. It was a big smile on my face for like last night. I thought I was playing FIFA for one point because it was like playing FIFA on the PlayStation. 8-0.
Yeah, fantastic, great stuff. Kevin, over to you, mate. Stateside, what did you make of that yesterday?
I mean, I'm still kind of lost for words, to be honest. I don't know how to put it actually into words. It was like watching the kids I coach on a Sunday morning. And I was watching it with my son, who's 13, and they're basically saying they just head it and kick it, and that's all they did. But it was a little bit worrying after they got opportunities when they play 5-man midfield against 3, could overload us and things like that. And they got down the sides a couple of times within the first 10 minutes or so, and you think, this could be a worry going forward if we're leggy, if we're not up for the game. But we dealt with it and had a couple of shots, and there after that, once we got that first goal, it was, it was a walk in the park, literally. Towards the end of it, I kind of felt sorry for them, to be honest, because every time we went forward, it looked like we were going to score. But from their perspective, obviously there was a lot of emotion around the game. There was a lot of things that obviously happened, sadly, in the week within their football club. So there was probably a lot of that pressure on their manager to get a result. And So yeah, and we just took advantage of it. We took advantage of that, and you play. It doesn't matter who you come up against. You got to play them for 90 minutes of football. But yeah, pleased with the result. Pleased with it. Like you said, Steve, as the clean sheets probably a bigger thing. Essentially, yes, we can score. You can always win a game 1-0, but the clean sheet for me was probably the more important. Going into when we play Man City this week. And then into the Burnley game, then PSG. So it's a nice little stepping stone going forward. So yeah, elated with the 8 again, like everybody else. It could have been 12. It could have been endless. It could have been a cricket score by the end of it if we put out literally all the chances that we had. But yeah, some good football. The best goal for me, if there was one, was the Miggy goal when he done that little overlap around Bruno, and it was all one-touch football, and that was what we're looking to do in the final third, but it was a different type of combination on the inside, not on the outside, like what we're used to seeing. So something different what we're seeing, which was really nice. So yeah, please, all my teams won this weekend as well, so I was happy with that from coaching's perspective. Then I come and watch that yesterday and couldn't get any better. So yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic. And there's Alan Thompson. He is in the chat. I did stick the link out, Alan, but you mustn't be able to jump on tonight. He says, fantastic, lads. We're clawing our way out of the relegation battle. Next up, Burnley at home. Everyone deserves a 10. I even forgot Sunderland got beat off Cardiff. Happy days. So there we go. Tim, there's no news on Barnes' injury, I'm afraid. We'll find out a little bit more tomorrow. And people who keep saying it's a knife in Darren's hand, I'm sure you're just doing something with your fingers. Are you shaving some skin off?
It's nails, Steve. It's very sharp nails.
It's a file. It's not a knife, folks. We haven't got it. We haven't got. It's not a true crime podcast. Don't worry. Well, it was a crime yesterday, wasn't it? 8 goals against Sheffield United. Barry, what was your take on the game, mate?
I think the thing for me is that the team, we didn't play to our full potential. That's the big thing for me. I would have said we were only about 75% of what we can be. And like Kev's just said there, every time we went forward, especially second half wise, it looked like we were going to score. I mean, again, I was listening to the commentary with John Anderson. It was unreal that it was every time they came forward, we took the ball and we ran at them. And Gordon, I totally agree, played out with his skin. It's a shame because I would have liked to have seen what Barnes would have done against him, whether he would have been as good. It would have been a good sort of confidence booster for him. I thought Anderson had a cracking game. Just an all-round good team performance, but we know that's the thing. We know we can do better. God, if we can score 8 goals, against a team like you guys have said have done decent results against other teams, they're not that bad. They're a Premiership side, yes, a lower Premiership side, but Christ, that's what we can do when we hit 100%. I have to say my only negative was them throwing bottles and stuff onto the pitch, the fans, especially when Elliot Anderson got hit with one of the bottles. I thought there was no need for it. I know you get bad results and stuff, but I thought we're getting past that stage of I hate to say anything like that kicking on, but other than that, Steve, unbelievable. It just lines us up nicely for midweek, and like the guys have said, bring on Burnley. We could help another team sort of stay in the bottom 3 when we play there.
Jody Tumperlife says, I thought Darren was an Everton fan with that knife. It's not a knife, man.
Steve.
Yes, Benny.
I've just been told he's broke his jaw, Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've had a tweet there from Paul Tweedy sent us a message.
I sent it to me as well.
It's only speculation. We don't know. Let's wait until Eddie Howe comes out and says it. We don't want to start speculating on stuff until we know for definite.
They'll just tape it to the next one. He'll be all right.
Well, I would have played on in a broken toe. I did on Sunday Leagues for many years, I'm afraid. So if it's a broken toe, just play on, son. There's no wrong with that.
As well.
There's no wrong with that.
I've watched juniors break a toe, and the coach just gets the 2 toes next to it together and tapes them up with some elastoplast and puts the boot straight back on.
I've done it.
Exactly. Yeah. If he's bust his big toe, just bust the other one and he'll be fine. Okay, CC says, question for everyone. Would you be interested in bidding for Aaron Ramsdale? It may seem harsh on Pope after 3 clean sheets, but he's 31 and 25-year-old Ramsdale's probably looking for a new club soon. Barry, I'll start with you, mate. We'll give you the first one on this. Ramsdale sitting on his backside at Arsenal. Didn't expect to see that. Having two good goalkeepers, I mean, you want two good goalkeepers, don't you, in each area? I guess if Ramsdale was told that it's a 50-50 between him and Pope, you'd have to consider it, but you'd just be swapping one bench for another at the moment, I think.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because Pope has had his moments where he's dropped clangers. He doesn't look the greatest goalkeeper in the world at times. He seems to have issues with his confidence. Ramsdale looks class. I don't know I'm presuming the guy who's in goal for Arsenal must be out of this world, because he was doing amazing things last season. Would you go for him? It would fit the Eddie Howe plan of signing players who are around that age category, the 23, 24, 25-year-old keepers can play well into their 30s. So I do think there's issues with Pope, Steve. We've mentioned it before, that there are times when he doesn't look, especially with his distribution with his feet, he doesn't look 100%. So I would look at it that there are this thing about the team is now constantly looking to improve. Why not? I think there probably are. It's one position where there may be better players out there.
Okay, that's a vote for Ramsdale. Kevin?
Agreed. If he becomes available for the right price, I would happily have him. Agree with Barry. Nick Pope looks robotic when he gets the ball at his feet. He looks rather stiff and rather nervy, which is not how the goalkeeper now these days play. Ramsdale obviously can do that, but again, Ray has displaced him as the number one at Arsenal. So, if he comes available, like we've always said, if it becomes across the right price, then yeah, maybe so. We'll just have to see how that one plays out. And I think obviously Dubravka and Karius are not surplus to requirements, but I think they're going to be having to move on from them too to get. And then if you say Ramsdale does come in, then you got two England international goalkeepers for you, essentially. But then the age thing comes into it, so we're looking at younger and potentially better than. Yeah, so again, like what Barry said, there's no harm in taking a punt at it and put our hat in the ring to see if we would entertain coming to Newcastle United.
Can I just ask you all to put your mics on mute, folks, because I've got a little bit of disturbance there. And when everyone's talking, it's a bit distracting. I don't know where it's come from. It just seems to be intermittent, so we're not getting it all the time. Yes, Benny, Ramsdale, would you take him?
No, I wouldn't. No, he has more clangers than Pope for me. I mean, for me, he's not we're buying players now. We're buying players who's playing the first team for teams, not second-hand ones who's being replaced. We have the first team players. Nah, I don't like Ramsdale at all. I thought when we played Arsenal at home, I think it was absolutely disgraceful. I wouldn't rate him at all. He on about keepers who are nervous. He absolutely was nervous, and you could see it in his face. He was frightened. But for me, no, it's a definite no for Ramsdale. I'm happy with Nick Pope. In the last two games, he's proved to me not to be worried about him kicking the ball out when he's got to roll the ball out as well.
Okay, Darren?
No, I wouldn't. Because if you get him, he's going to be on high wages, and he wants to play first team football. Alex has have one world class goalkeeper on the bench, and I'd rather have a up and coming keeper from the future on the bench. But like Spenny said, he is known as mistakes. Nick Pope's only 31. He's still got 4 good years in him still to play in goal. So me personally, I wouldn't touch Ramsdale. Like, I'm happy with Nick Pope on the bench.
Okay, Ian. You need to unmute yourself, Ian. Sorry, mate.
Sorry. No chance. Popey, for me, is all right. He's not great with his feet. We all have to understand that. But his distribution actually has got a lot better. Certainly from throws. You can work around that. And one thing I've noticed is, he can't kick the ball very well. But when he can't kick it, he's generally kicking it out of touch, which, all right, it's not perfect. But you'd rather have that than it going straight back into possession when we're out of position. Ramsdale's no better than Pope. He's not as good as Pope for me. And, if we are at some point in the next 2 or 3 seasons going to get another goalkeeper in, it has to be someone of the highest quality, someone world class, you know, and that's not Ramsdale for me, so it's a no.
Okay, George, unmute yourself and give us your opinion. Would you take Ramsdale?
The short answer is no, I wouldn't take Ramsdale. I think if you look at the stats, Nick Pope's redeemed himself over the last few games. Not perfect, his distribution. I think that's a very fair point. But, you know, they should be working on that on the training ground, for goodness sake. Or is that the old man coming out again? No, if Ramsdale was so good, he'd be in the Arsenal first team. And the fact that he's not tells you something about him, because Arteta doesn't play people who aren't winners. And the fact is, he sees Ramsdale as second best if he's lucky at Arsenal. He might not even be second best there. So I don't see why he should come here and warm the bench for us. No, I wouldn't have him, Steve. Good goalkeeper in some ways, but in other ways, no better than Pope. I'd want a world-class replacement if I'm going to replace him.
Chippers.
Well, I think if he can't get into any of the teams that we're supposed to be going to be competing with in the next few years, I don't see why we should take the cast off. I mean, can't get an Arsenal's team, then why should we take him? Let him sit on the bench at Stuart Arsenal, in my opinion, and no.
No, simple answer to a simple question. Resounding no from most people there. Yeah, for me, Ramsdale, is he an improvement on Pope? Marginally. I think he's probably better coming for crosses than Pope is. I think that's the only disappointment I have. I'm not so bothered about Pope's distribution, because he manages to achieve what some goalkeepers achieve with their feet, with his hands. You know, he's got a novel way of distributing the ball, which, you know, the strength, the upper body strength and the height of him, he's you know, he has that. But it's why it surprises us how poor he is coming out and challenging. I'm always very nervous when the ball's lobbed into the box and he's coming out and he's got an indecision of whether to punch or push, and I think that's his weakness. That's my honest
decision making, though, isn't it, Steve? That is decision
making. It is.
And, you know, he's been with us. I know he's been with us a while, but like, I'm sure he's not a thick lad. I'm sure he can have that coached into him. He's got plenty of years left, and that is all decision making.
It's very difficult to coach things at that age, though. You know that you do that as a kid, and I just think it's confidence. I think it's a confidence. Maybe there's been maybe there's been a situation where there's been a collision, where there's been where he's, I don't know, has he been concussed in a challenge like that? I don't know. It's a lack of confidence. But I don't think I don't know. It is decision making. It is at the end of the day. Geordie Tuberlife says Pope and crosses go well together, and you are right, Geordie Tuberlife. But not our Pope, I'm afraid. Not for me anyway. Okay, we're halfway through the show. Time for the ads. A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at skipsandbins.com or telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website skipsandbins.com. Easy contract free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Big thanks to Mr. Vicky's sauces handmade in Cumbria. You can order them from their website, mrvickys.co.uk, or by telephoning 01768 210 102. A big thanks also to New Workwear. You can find them at newworkwear.com. They are an agile and dedicated workwear provider. Welcome back as well to United Travel. They are a UK coaches firm, and they are based in the Northeast. They've got 2024 tours, and you can contact them on 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Email info@unitedgrouptravel.com, and they've got a website which is unitedgrouptravel.com. There's no strangers on their tours, just people you haven't met yet. Big thanks to them for their sponsorship. Big thanks as well to Media Arts, and they supply all the video technology. If you want to become a member and get a cup, a pen, a membership card, and a scarf, then get your smartphone and put it over this QR code. it will take you straight to the membership pack. It's a £25 one-off fee. You can also go to NUFC Matters website and search membership pack to book today. If you want to help the channel, then subscribe to it by hitting the subscribe button. Hit the thumb up under the video to like the video and click share to share to your other social media. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. Don't forget, we help the food bank on this channel. If you want to do so virtually, go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and make a donation today. The Alan Shearer raffle is back on. 150 tickets, £1 a ticket. Win a limited edition signed Alan Shearer ball. Enter today at nufcmatters.com. Okay, I just want to push the Rob Lee t-shirt for the food bank at Steve Wraith on Twitter. It's pinned at the top. Place a bid underneath. Whatever we raise goes straight to the food bank. I think the bid is at £20. It is signed by Rob Lee, and we will post that out to you if you are the lucky winner who's announced on the Amigos on Friday. The Kieran Trippier raffle is still ongoing. £1 a ticket, and you can go to nufcmatters.com to enter that, and you can get your t-shirts on there as well. These Have You Ever Seen a Macam in Milan t-shirts are now up on the website with our Champions League group game fixtures on the back. So get yourself onto the website, and there's a whole host of t-shirts on there. A couple of events coming up. There's one at Christmas, 7th of December, with Frank Clark and Gibbo. Tickets are £15. They will be on at the Irish Centre, nufcmatters.com for that. And if you want to meet Keegan, Waddle and Beardsley, get yourself along to the Tyne Theatre next year, 25th of January 2024, and tickets are available for that from the box office 0844 249 1000. That's 0844 249 1000, and some very special guests are going to be announced for that in due course. And the breakfast show is on every morning, 7 till 9. It's on the Red, the Toon, and the Cat. You can listen to it on DAB radio, smart speakers, the app, and online. And I'm hosting that with Rai, Dave, and Daz. So get yourself on there, 7 o'clock in the morning. It is always a good listen. And Gibbo and Supermac are back at Louis Liquor Store pre-match this coming Wednesday, pre-match only. So if you want to see Gibbo and Supermac, it is free entry. It was chock-a-block for the last game. So get yourself down there. And if you want to listen to what the two legends have got to say and get a photograph with them or get something signed, get yourself down there. It is free entry. Chippers, just want a quick question on this one. The new training kit the Castori's brought out. What's your thoughts on that, mate? I've got to be honest, I quite like it.
Yeah, it looks nice. Again, I don't have a problem with the Castori shirts. I just have a problem with Castori in general because they're not that good as a supplier. If it was, anybody else, I would like that shirt. Don't get us wrong, but again, if it's Castori, how do you know you're gonna get it, or when you're gonna get it, or if you're gonna get it? That's, to me, I like it, but again, it's just the problem is Castori. That's it.
Yeah, we already know your opinion on this, George. We got it the other day.
Yeah.
So Barry, what's your thoughts on that top?
I think it looks mint. It does. It's definitely the neon effect on it. My only disappointment was the price of it, Steve. I had a quick look online to see how much it was, and it's listed as a t-shirt, and I think it's about 50 quid. And I thought it's a lot of money for what it is. You know what I mean? I really wanted it. I was ready to go on and get one, but I was a little bit put off by that. But I think, as you guys said over the weekend, I think some of the stuff that Castori comes up with is really good. But like Chippers has just said, their delivery and everything else is atrocious. Some of their actual designs look really canny, and that one I think especially does.
Ian, I know you like your tops, mate. Are you a fan of this one?
Nah. No, I've got to disagree. I think it looks like some kids got set free on an Etch-a-Sketch and gone mental. And I wouldn't be wearing that with my big beer belly anyway. I don't know whether Emily's here. Oh, yeah. She can, yeah. Because I don't know what it looked like stretched over my big beer belly. So no, it's not for me. That
you've got a proper complex now. Your lass has given you.
Yeah.
It's your first Christmas present.
Private joke.
Darren, do you like it?
I like it, but it's only so many train tops you can have. You know what I mean? Like Barry said, 50 quid, a lot of money these days. It was £10. I might be tempted to go and get it, but I'm not paying £50. Way expensive, and they've got a lot of football tops now out. It's only so much money people's got. So maybe it's just a money making scheme for the club, isn't it?
Okay, Spenny.
It's bloody horrible. It's like me going to the Biddy Mayfair in the 90s on a bloody glow sticks about in the resurrection. I tell you, it's horrible.
I wish you would tell
a football top or whatever it is. I don't even know. They wouldn't even sell them in Primark.
When are you ever going to tell the truth, Spenny? How will you tell me what you think about it?
Hey, Spenny, you down as a 1990s raver.
You're all timid for Spenny giving for his birthday present.
I wouldn't wipe my ass on it. There you go.
Wow.
Kev, will you be winging one of these over to the States?
Not that one, but I will be getting the quarter zip, which is that times 20 essentially. It's like that full design, but across the full shirt, if you will, the quarter zip thing for the winter over here. Obviously doesn't get that cold, but yeah, even with Spenny's commented that one, you hate the quarter zip because that's just like an acid trip essentially. But I'm all for the pretty much this will be near enough a limited edition at the end of the season essentially. So I'm all for like the apparel. I love all that sort of stuff. I've got millions of different shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, whatever. But yeah, I'm the bit of the different one of the group. Like Mitch, I guess when you see it, I just want to get it. I've already spoke to my mum about it, and she's going to go to the club shop and get it. So she'll be sending it over for us.
Mummy's getting it for you.
Good stuff.
I am. Hey, out for now for me. I don't care. No, but no, I like it. I think it's just again something different, and if from an apparel standpoint, I think I know Adidas have got their own design teams and things like that, but if they really knock on the door of Castore and say, "Hey, here's a contract for you for a designer to go and work for Adidas with a part of the club. Here's your next level of designs," and I would happily see that, but with an Adidas badge on or emblem or some way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of design things that I'm interested in seeing, and it promotes the stadium. It promotes a lot of things about the city. Just bring them along with Adidas and just sack off Castore essentially and get a new job with them. I'm sure they'll be able to pay, But yeah, I like it. Like I said, I could probably get that one. When I get the new shirt, the thing, I'll put it on for you and see what you think, Spenny, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Kev, if my mum's going to buy me one, I'll have one for free, like.
Hey, well, drop us one and pay her the money, then she'll get you one, because, yeah.
No.
All right, got about 20 minutes left. I want to change tact again, Chippers, and I want to go to Callum Wilson. Since the start of last season, only Erling Haaland and Harry Kane have scored more Premier League goals than Newcastle striker Callum Wilson. Is he the most underrated striker in the Premier League? And we'll give you some stats as well, which I watched back last night after the game. Top goal scorers for Newcastle: Shearer up there, 148, Beardsley 46, Shola 43. Andy Cole 43. Callum is a goal behind those two. He's looking to go, into second place this season. Jumping ahead of Les Ferdinand yesterday. Minutes per goal ratio. He's also now ahead of Callum Wilson, just behind Andy Cole. So, to be honest, he's made that number 9 shirt his own, and it's been a while since we've had a number 9 who we can actually say deserves to have the shirt, Chippers.
He's very underrated. If you think as well, though, he's had 18 months of Steve Bruce ball, so he was having one chance a game under him, and you say how many times he came out and said they weren't fit enough, etc., and you see him now. He's probably in one of the best shapes he's been in his career. Being honest, Eddie Howe's managing him so well, and the fact we've got Isak to play as well means we don't have to play him every week. We can rotate him and keep him fresh for certain games and bring him on in certain games. I think that's how, obviously, as he's getting older and his body's probably regressing a bit, that's the way to manage him. I just, like I said, he was top scorer 2 years in a row for under Bruce, and that's when he had his worst injuries. So and we were pretty bad. We were very woeful as a football team. So yeah, he's very underrated. I just, it's a shame we didn't get him earlier than what we did do, because we could have more out of him as opposed to him signing him. When was he 28 or something, 29 when we signed him? So it's just one of them things where, as well, you have, like I said, for his goals to game ratio, he's very good at it, and yeah, he'll easily get 46 goals, won't he? He'll easily get the second place. I mean, you might find it a bit difficult getting another 100 odd to catch Shearer in the next few years, but yeah, I mean, for how much did we pay 20 million for him? It's he's paying it back in abundance, and people, you've got to argue that our front line with him and Isaac rotating, it's not very far being one of the best in the league. Like, I mean, I see Man City have Haaland and that, but for two players to have two players for the same position that can score goals, not many teams have that.
You see, he might struggle to overtake Shearer. If I keep winning 8-0 every week, he might find it a bit easier, but you never know. It's an underrated.
Yeah, I think he is, but if you're right to bring up the stats, Steve, because there's another stat in terms of his penalty taking. I think there's only Kane and one other that's as good as percentage scoring rate of penalties than Callum Wilson has. But he looks the part at the moment. He looks fit as a butcher's dog. He's quick. He's not.
There's the butcher's dog.
I'm going to say there's the butcher's dog. He's in everything. He's not. There's no way that once he's on the ball, he's headed for goal. Nobody's going to push him off it, because he's really strong, and he's been like that all the time. No, I think underrated's a fair word to use about Callum, because he is a consummate striker, and he's a thinker. I mean, some of the I don't know why they did it, but the last penalty he took was at Brentford. The TV camera focused on him. You could see him taking the penalty in his brain. You could see what he was going to do, when his concentration, his eyes, and that you don't make that. And the other thing about him, when he talks a lot of sense. And if we're going to have younger strikers like Isaac and others coming on behind him, particularly if there's any local ones, what a better bloke to have to coach them than Callum Wilson. I think, he underrated, and he'll certainly get second top spot with this season, no bother. But I like Callum Wilson. I think we've got a good centre forward there, and should always be in the England squad for me.
Okay, Barry, is he underrated? I mean, those stats don't lie, really.
I think the thing with Wilson is we've always known the quality that he's got. His attitude is spot on. His ability's there. The only downside to Wilson is his injury record. He does seem to pick up a lot of injuries, and when he does get them, he's out for a long period of time. I mean, that was the thing with Shearer, why Shearer's got so many goals, because yes, he did get a couple of bad injuries, but run-of-the-mill wise, he was very rarely injured for a lot of the games he played for us. I mean, you just think if we'd gotten Shearer earlier from Blackburn, how many goals he would have scored, he would have banged in a lot more. But I think that the guy Chipper said it there, that the idea of having a fit Isaac and Callum Wilson it just bodes well for the rest of the season. I think if Howe can keep doing it the way he's doing it, I wasn't 100% that the rotation, especially with the two forwards, would work. But what he's done so far, he's like George said, Wilson seems to be fitter than he ever has been. He seems ready for it. He's up for it. The two of them are interchanging, and they're quite happy to come on and off. And obviously, they're both scoring goals. I think Wilson is. I would love to see Wilson, like George says, go into some sort of backroom role, because I think he could teach the young uns an awful lot of things. Like watching the highlights yesterday, seeing Sir Les talking about the match, I would have loved to see him do the same thing. But yeah, Wilson's class. It's just his injuries that sometimes lets him down.
Yeah, underrated. Callum Wilson. Lots of people saying, where's Supermax football existed before the Premier League? Just imagine Shearer's record if he hadn't had those two long-term serious injuries. Ian, Callum Wilson, where's he stand?
Underrated, yes, and long may it continue, because he loves being the underdog, because his mentality is amazing as a sportsman. You know, whatever sport he's in, as soon as anyone doubts him, he fights. You know, he's said it himself when I've watched him on his podcast. As soon as someone puts him down, he thinks, you know, bollocks to them. I'm going to show him, and that's what he does. Finishing when he's on song, there's nobody better, no Englishman better. You know, in the Premier League now, you maybe say Kane is, but he's not in the Premier now, is he? So for me, he's absolute class. And the one thing that I love at the moment is, you know, we don't know the ins and outs of it, but he's training separate to the squad the majority of the time. They've got him on a personal training schedule, which means that he can come into the games fit as he can be, you know, which, okay, might only be playing at 90%, 95%, but a Callum Wilson at 90%, 95% is going to score more goals than 99.9% of the strikers, you know, in Europe. So I think they've really got it at a perfect level. He knows his role. He knows he's not going to play every week. He also, I think, understands Isak is world class, you know. And I just think it's a brilliant partnership between the pair of them. They seem to get on, but they are fighting for that top spot, you know. So no, I think we've got him at his best now.
I love this from Life Goals. Steve, I saw a chap who looked incredibly similar to you. Tall, handsome, bald, bearded. Christ, you need to go to Specsavers Life Goals. I thought it was you. I went up and said, "Hi, Steve." Chatted for a while. The fella seemed scared. Anyway, it wasn't you, Steve. He was Spanish. Classic. Absolute classic. Darren, Callum Wilson, is he underrated?
Yes, and I can agree with Ian. He's trained. He has his own personal training system, but he's very professional off the pitch as well, and how he talks, and he speaks honest, and that's good to hear. He says that he wants to play every game, but he understands its rotation system, which is good. It's not just about him; it's about the team. So he's so professional, and I like his attitude. He's kind of changed his game as well in his own way. He's not what I've gone hell for that. I've watched him a few times now. He's just a different player when we first got him. He's a bit more like, I don't know. I see the difference in him. Do you know what I mean?
Did he look to you? Did he look a yard quicker yesterday?
Yeah. I just think he's timed his runs better.
Yeah.
He's to me, it's changed his game. What he used to be. You know, he just everything about him. You watch him now. He's not like just sprinting towards the ball. He's making the right decision when to go for the ball. You know what I mean? And he's just so professional on the pitch and how he speaks off the pitch as well.
Steve, can I come back on the training issue? Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
It's no surprise to me that they're doing special things with him.
Yeah.
When Bruce was there, he suffered Bruce's dinosaur-style training, run. That took nothing into account about your own physiology. Where now with the lads that were applying the science in the club now, they look at every player and decide what they want. Some players want long runs, some players want short runs, some players don't want to be running out very much at all to keep fit, and you've got to work that out. Bruce just did it with all of them. I mean, I live near the training ground, and a number of times I've seen Dwight Gale going down my street on his bloody arse, so knackered. And then on the Saturday he couldn't play. Why? Because he'd left it all in my street.
Love it. Steve Wraith's a very good-looking fellow and a local celeb, so maybe some people are basing their look on him. Yeah, I'm big in Spain Life Goals, obviously, from what you just said. Spenny, Callum Wilson, is he underrated?
Yes, he's underrated. But I'll tell you the truth now, I was one of his worst critics last season when he came back from the World Cup. I thought he lost his form and all that, etc. And I was doubting his abilities. But he's turned, and like Joe Linton as well, I was the same with Joe Linton. But he's proved me wrong, and Eddie Bowers proved me wrong by coaching, like George said. These are different times now. Coaches come in, they've got so many coaches, and these coaches base them on different positions now. And then the coaches take them people to do what they think their weaknesses are. That's how it's done now. To me, he's an old-fashioned centre forward, and there's little of them left now. To be honest, he's another Shearer sort of Esquire and McDonald. He's got the space, he's got the strength. Defenders bounce off him. He knows the game, and I think we're very lucky to have him still, without being sold off actually.
Kev, one of the most underrated. His stats are superb. Since the turn of the year, he's up there with Haaland.
Oh, absolutely, and very, very underrated. And like, well, lads have said, just keep it that way. But for me, he's matured as a footballer since he's been here. He's clever with his movements. He's built like a brick house. He's a big lad. I wouldn't like to come up against him as a set two centre backs. I wouldn't like to come up against him in any scenario whatsoever. He speaks well. He comes from very workmanlike, humble beginnings, and he's had to give everything that he's had to get where he's got to. And I think where the shoe fits when he played for a club like Newcastle United is very, very similar. In terms of the backgrounds a lot of people have, you work hard all week, and that's what he does. The training element, it's specificity for what he needs. Every player has it. It's called, and is a big word here, periodization. So they'll set plans. They'll have plans for each individual player. George is exactly right. They'll do X player wants this, X player needs that. It's a need for the player versus a need for the team, but they'll do it as a collective. So everybody has needs in how to develop. Or for example, like playing in Milan, he didn't even get on the park, from my memory. But the travel time, the recovery time, how all of that is taken into account, psychological effects, everything comes into one periodization table, and it'll be in graphs, it'll be in spreadsheets, everything. So they can pinpoint. I do player trackers for 7-year-olds to see where they are in their development process to get them to the next level. They'll have this exact same thing, but at it's a basic concept, but it is a higher level for that individual player. Okay, you're here this week. This is where you are mentally. This is where you are physically. So I think he's learned with Eddie Howe and the way science has moved on, and the statisticians and everybody, nutritionists, you name it. He's bought into being a better pro, and we're seeing the benefit of that. And I'll put a large amount of money on he can smash Peter Beardsley in terms of getting into the number 2. I mean, he's not going to catch Alan. I'm sorry. It's just, Alan's way out in front, but, he's going to give him a good go. Get into the 200 club, get into whatever, have a high standard for yourself. And I think you'll probably go ahead and do that. Okay, 100 club, sorry. So, that's his targets. That's his personal targets as a player. So, and I think the coaching staff are doing that to help him. Again, being mature enough to say, okay, Isaac will start this week, but you might get on. You might play, but every game of the season, either or have scored. It's like a 1-2 punch. Mitch talks about the running back stuff here in the NFL. It's like 1-2 punch. If you got one, then you've got another one that comes and just does exactly the same, and they can't stop you. And then you're going to win more games. So overall, it's a fabulous problem to have for Eddie. In terms of I've got this big brute of a striker, physical, powerful lad, and I've got Isaac, who's very technical, gifted footballer. But so is Callum Wilson, but in a different way. So it's nice to have the two, and I think Chipper said it. One's going to get one will get one this week or whatever. If nobody scores, then we've got somebody else through the midfield who can score. So everybody's now is chipping in to be the best team that we can, and we have a great opportunity to go and exceed what we've done last year, in my opinion.
Okay, we're looking ahead for the last 5 minutes to Man City and the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. So, Kevin, I'll come to you first, mate, for your prediction. How do you see this going? There's going to be squad rotation again, we know that, but how do you see things going in that game?
Well, thankfully Rodri's not playing. That's a positive, because I think he's one of the best central midfielders in the world, and I think he makes them tick from playing out and all the rest of it and going forward. But I would like, obviously we want to win, yes, but I'll put my neck on the line and say we'll win on penalties.
Okay, we're going to win on penalties. Spenny, how do you see the Man City game going in the Carabao Cup?
That's exactly what I was going to say. What Kevin said, I was going to go for penalties as well. I think it'll go 1-1. I think it'll be a tight game. Roddy is a miss for them. Don't get us wrong. He was the best player when we played him. For me, I know Foden got all the plaudits, but I think Roddy was the best player for Man City on that pitch that day. For me, it's going to be 1-1. We'll win on penalties, and I'll be clutching me seat like that watching it.
Darren, penalties. First two lads have gone for. What about you?
I fancy a 2-1 win. Man City's already said they're going to play the youth team or whatever, second string, and that's still good. But I think Eddie Howe will take the match serious. I think he'll want to win, so I think he'll play the strongest team he thinks will win the game. So I fancy 2-1 win for me.
Yep, Ian.
I hope Darren's right and he plays the youth, but I think he'll play the second string, which unfortunately is as good as most teams in the Premier Division. But
your paint, Ian.
Say again.
But your paint.
Well, I'll be there. I'll be in the Gallagher anyway, mate. So I'll be seeing you. Don't you worry, because I think you owe us one.
Do I?
Usual place, Stazzy. You know where I'll be.
All right.
Yeah. I think it'll be penalty. I think it'll go to penalties, and I think we'll win. I think Nick Pope will do what he does. But yeah, it's a Rodri not playing's massive for us. Like lad said before, he's absolute quality. So yeah, I think it'll be a hard match, but I'm backing the win on penalties.
Barry.
It's a weird one, isn't it? I never thought I would agree with the guys thinking that they'll win on penalties, but I think it is going to be that close. I think now we've built a squad, via rotation rather than having 22 players of that ability. And I think City will bring out the second string, which, like the guys have said, unfortunately, probably would finish in the top four anyway. I would love to see it. I would love to see us get through, because I think we said it last season that we got to the final without playing any of the top teams. And then obviously we flopped, if you like, against Man United. Can you imagine what it would be like if we can beat City and go on to the next round? The amount of confidence that would give us. So I'll go with the lads. Hopefully we will get a draw and then win on pens. Like Spenny said, though, I don't fancy sitting watching it. Be sitting.
Right, your nails.
I'll
George.
be up and down. I gotta get
1-0 will win in time. We won't go to penalties. We'll win 1-0. It'll be a tough game, but the way the defence played in Milan and the way we repeated it at Sheffield and Manchester City don't score easily against us. So 1-0 at 90 minutes for me. Can I just come back on the training thing? When Steve Bruce was appointed, Rafa Benitez had a dossier for every single player. And the first thing he did was put it in the bin. First day at Benton, in the bin.
Yeah. It's just Steve Bruce. I'm sick of him. I really am. He's just like the ghost of Christmas past. That's what he's like.
Dinosaur.
Christmas past.
Yeah. Chimmers, your prediction for tomorrow, for Wednesday. Sorry.
Do you know, there must be something on the wall, because I was going to say drawn penalties as well.
I've had me one of the day like fair.
Yeah. So you're going for penalties as well, yeah?
Yeah. I think I'm agreeing with Ian, strangely enough. I think Pope's very good with penalties and pen shootouts. So I think we'll beat them on pens. I think it'll be 0-0 full time, funnily enough, and I think we'll beat them on pens. I think the Barrow will play in goal. Martin the Barrow will play in goal, like.
Do you think?
We'll see. Okay, I'm back tomorrow night. Geordie said Geordie's there tomorrow night instead of the Premier League show, because obviously Wednesday we are playing. So we'll go over. Geordie said Geordie's there tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, which means you're back again, George. Double.
I am indeed.
Double shift tomorrow. Good to see you, Chippers. Thanks to George. Thanks to Barry. Thanks to Kevin, Spenny, Darren, Ian, all the mods, everybody in the chat. Please hit the subscription button if you haven't already done so. Hit the like, the little thumb underneath on the way out, and I'll be back tomorrow at 6. Take care, lads.
Bye. Bye.
We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.